Question of the day, or quaestio die, if we're speaking Latin. What is your favorite smart game? Like a game that's got a theme that's smart, a game that makes you feel really smart when you finally get the concepts playing the game, or makes you feel incredibly stupid when you don't get the concepts. So, which brings us to a game today all about space exploration, all about going... well, you're not going exploring. This is something you can do in your backyard, which is why it's so interesting, because it takes the idea of a space theme, and instead of traveling interstellar, you're just looking through a telescope and seeing stellar objects in this gorgeous universe that we live in, right? So you're looking and seeing nebulas and galaxies and black holes and things like that, which, wow, how about the fact that we have that photographic evidence of a black hole now? It's amazing. The universe we live in is incredible. But this game, Stellar, is all about exploring that through the eyes of a telescope and seeing the wonderful things of the universe and collecting it. So if you're able to see these things, you're able to collect them in your notebook. Also, you're collecting, it's almost like bird watching, but you're galaxy watching or star watching or planet watching. So that is the theme. Don't let me bog it down there, because we're going to look at how this game plays. I'm going to give you an overview of how to play it. We're going to go through and talk about the merits of the game from art standpoint to on the table look, and then to obviously the mechanics and replayability and things like that. This is Stellar from Renegade Games. Let's take a look right now. So this is Stellar from Renegade. So everybody gets this tapestry effect here, and it's pretty gorgeous, right? I mean, you get this nice, I don't know if you call it tapestry, whatever it is. You get this nice panorama look pyramid, and you're going to be putting cards on top of these spaces. Now, the areas do matter for scoring. Certain areas will score more, or they'll score points based on the areas. You have the top section there, the middle section, and the bottom section. These are ways to score points at the end of the game. There are three major ways to score. That would be the stars times the multiplier we'll talk about. Sex and majorities, that's what we're doing right now. And then the diversity bonus, if you have one card of all five types in your telescope, score 10 points. So you can score and play multiple different ways, but what's going to happen is you're going to have a display of these cards right here. There are all sorts of cards like black holes and planets, different black holes, interstellar clouds, moons, that's no moon, asteroids, and then I think there's satellites is the only other one. Did I miss one? Yeah, interstellar clouds, black holes, planets, satellites, moons, asteroids. Yeah. So the the satellites are wild. But look, the art is different for each of these values. Now, they all have values on them. They all have stars on them. You can play the cards into two areas. One onto your telescope, which is what it was talking about for majority. So if I play the black hole down here and cover up this section, next time you play a black hole, it has to play adjacent to this one. Vice versa. If I played a planet, it would have to be adjacent to that one. But notice that the art is different on all of them. And I'm telling you, the art in this game is absolutely beautiful. So, the numbers up there matter for that. The other thing is, you take a card out of a display. So there will be a set of 5 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You'll notice that each of these cards have a numerical value in the top left corner. What's going to happen is you're going to take one of the 5 cards from the display over here. Once you take that card, so let's just say I take this card into my hand of 2 cards. Now I have 3 cards to choose from to play. This one, this first choice that you play, can go either to your notebook, which is where you're going to put runs of cards. So basically, this is a 1 and 2 of a moon. The more you have in a row of cards times the amount of stars you have is what you score for each item. Now, it's a very tricky concept, but for instance, the black holes, if I had 6 stars worth of black holes in my telescope, over here in my notebook, if I had 2, 3, 4, 5 of a black hole, you would then multiply the amount of stars times your multiplier bonus, which is what that number is over here. And that's how you calculate your score for each type of thing. So you can have as many stars as you want in your telescope, but if you don't have a run, you won't score any points. Vice versa, you could have as many points over here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then not have any in your telescope and score 0 points. So you've got to be careful and play that balance. Now, you have these 3 cards in your hand. You're going to choose one of them to play. You can play it either to your telescope or to your notebook, like we just mentioned. But the second card you play on your turn comes from the display based on the number of the first card you played. So if I play this black hole, I would then go over to because it's got a number 2 on it, what is on the second card of the display, and let's just say it's a moon. I can then play the moon into whichever section I didn't play the telescope. So the moon would go into my notebook. Once you've played both cards, you'll refill the row and the next person will take their turns. The game will end when all 12 spaces are full, because you'll have to do that. And whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins the game. And that's how you play Stellar. So that's it. Very nice looking game, first and foremost. I want to say the one deceptive thing, though, the box is small, but this is not a small game. Like, you couldn't play this in a small area because you have to build that little image. First and foremost, let's talk presentation and art style. The game is gorgeous. Like, the actual art on the cards is absolutely gorgeous. It's realistically done, but with the kind of the NASA recoloring that they do with the pictures from the telescopes. It's a very beautiful looking game. Plus, let's talk about the actual presentation of how it looks on the table. When you have that nice image built from those telescopes at first, it looks really good. Is it necessary? Not 100%. No, you could just mark it off and coordinate where to go when you place it, but it does look really good. I like the fact that you get that cool image of the kid looking through the telescope at the stars and seeing this wonderful, gorgeous, amazing, incredible universe that we live in, right? And so that alone kind of sold me at first on the presentation, coupled with the cards. Now, the game looks good. If you're getting it based on art, get it immediately based on art and theme. It really is good. If you like space, if you like space exploration or space telescopes and all this, I can't think of astronomy. Astronomy, that's the word. If you like astronomy, definitely check this out, right? But let's talk about the mechanics of the game. The reason the question of the day is about feeling smart, this is one of those games that until you get it, you go, I feel like a moron. I don't understand how to get this card to here, here, here. It's pretty simple, though. I mean, as you saw in the overview, you're going to take a card, right, from the display. You're going to play one. Whichever one you play, the number that you played it is the card from the display that goes either into your notebook or into your display there. And then you're going to score points based on it at the end of the game. It takes a little while to get that brain engine of yours going, though, to go, wait a minute, I took this card, but now I'm not going to actually get to play this card until a couple rounds later. Or the card I'm actually going to get to play this round is that one over there, and that one doesn't do me any good. Or you might do something incredibly silly where you have a wonderful run of cards in your notebook, but then you look down and realize that you don't have any in your telescope, which is a problem. So the game itself has some very interesting mechanics. I like the mathy feel. I like the puzzly feel of you playing your own game and trying to figure out, okay, wait a minute. I need to take this card now, but I need to play this card now so that I can play that card over there. And the reason I took that card now was so I could have it to guarantee that I can play it on the next turn or the next couple turns. So very, very quick game, very, very beautiful game. I highly recommend getting this game. I really, really like Stellar. I think it's one of the better kind of mathy, puzzly games that you have to figure out. It's not really mathy, but it's more puzzly games that you have to figure out in your head what the most efficient thing to do is, but it doesn't feel like it's work. It feels like, oh, this is a puzzle, and I hope I'm puzzling it out. And when it works, when it clicks, it's very nice to kind of get the combo of I took this card, played this card, and boom, I get to play that card, which is going to score me a lot of points at the end of the game. But once you can get that system figured out in your mind and get it working for you every single time, or at least as often as you can based on the numerical values there, it becomes a really rewarding experience. So Stellar, fantastic game. Gorgeous looking on the table. Great theme. I love these science themes, getting us into, kind of everyday normal science as opposed to like, faster than light travel and stuff, which is amazing if we could do it, but this is actual stuff you can go in your backyard and you can study what you look in. I love games that teach things, especially if you're talking about kids, but I mean, history, I love things like Twilight Struggle because it gets you people interested in the Cold War, arguably one of the most important periods in our entire American history, world history actually. This gets people into astronomy. Like, this isn't something you have to think, wow, sci-fi. No, you can go out in your backyard tonight and even just look up and see some of this stuff, or you can get a telescope and see these things, or you can look up some of these beautiful images that we have from this gorgeous universe that we live in. So, Stellar is a big win for me. I'm a big fan of this game. Very, very interesting, very tricky. It's a little mathy, it's a little tough at first, a little puzzly, but definitely go get your hands on Stellar. I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, etc. Dice Tower Bryan. Until next time. We'll see you.